In a move that has sent shockwaves through the international community, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy has declared his country's intention to hold on to seized Russian territories indefinitely. This signals a significant escalation in the ongoing conflict between Ukraine and Russia. Zelenskyy emphasized that Ukraine has no desire to annex Russian land. However, he views the control of these territories as crucial for securing a Ukrainian victory. Zelensky's decision to hold the seized territories is deeply rooted in strategic considerations. Ukraine aims to prevent Russia from establishing a secure foothold along its border. By maintaining control over these areas, Ukraine gains a valuable buffer zone, enhancing their ability to defend against future Russian incursions. Control of these territories also provides Ukraine with a strong bargaining chip in future negotiations with Russia. The indefinite hold on these territories grants Ukraine a significant advantage, allowing them to press for stronger security guarantees from Russia. Despite the strategic advantages, risks are inherent in this strategy. Russia is unlikely to passively accept the loss of its territory, and maintaining control will demand significant military resources from Ukraine. The situation remains volatile and unpredictable. The long-term implications of Zelensky's decision will hinge on various factors, including the level of international support for Ukraine and the nature of Russia's response. Ukraine's resolve will be tested as they navigate this complex and dangerous landscape. The international community's response to Zelensky's declaration has been mixed. Western allies, particularly the United States, have expressed unwavering support for Ukraine's right to defend its territory. However, some nations have expressed reservations, concerned about the potential for further escalation and the impact on future peace negotiations. Russia has vehemently condemned Ukraine's actions, labeling them as a provocation and a violation of their territorial integrity. Moscow has vowed to retaliate, even accusing Ukraine of terrorism. The conflict in Ukraine has profound geopolitical implications, particularly for the security architecture of Europe. Zelensky's declaration is likely to exacerbate tensions between Russia and the West. The international community now faces a significant challenge, balancing support for Ukraine's right to self-defense with the need to prevent a wider, more devastating conflict. The stakes have never been higher. While Ukraine celebrates its recent gains, the conflict continues to rage. Russia has intensified its attacks, causing widespread destruction and casualties. The situation in eastern Ukraine remains volatile, with heavy fighting along the front lines. The human cost is staggering, with thousands killed or injured and millions displaced. The UN warns of a humanitarian crisis, with urgent needs for food, water, and medical care. Despite the violence, Zelenskyy remains resolute in resisting Russian aggression. The world must not forget the human toll. Beyond the immediate concerns of the war, Zelenskyy faces a myriad of challenges on the domestic front. The conflict has had a devastating impact on Ukraine's economy, infrastructure, and social fabric. Rebuilding the country and addressing the needs of its citizens will require a long-term commitment and substantial resources. Zelenskyy has pledged to implement reforms, tackle corruption, and strengthen democratic institutions. However, the war has created an environment of heightened scrutiny, raising concerns about transparency and accountability. Balancing the demands of war with the need for good governance will be a delicate balancing act for Zelenskyy and his government. Public opinion remains largely supportive of Zelensky's leadership, with a sense of national unity in the face of Russian aggression. Maintaining national unity and morale in the face of adversity will be crucial for Ukraine's long-term stability and recovery. The road ahead is fraught with challenges, but Ukraine's resilience remains strong. The future of the Russia-Ukraine war remains uncertain. While Ukraine's recent territorial gains offer a glimmer of hope, the conflict is far from over. Several factors will shape the ultimate outcome, including Russia's response to Zelensky's declaration and the trajectory of international support for Ukraine. For Ukraine, the war represents an existential struggle for its survival as an independent nation. For Russia, the conflict has resulted in international isolation, economic sanctions, and a significant loss of prestige on the world stage. The international community faces the monumental challenge of preventing a wider conflict while upholding the principles of sovereignty and territorial integrity. The conflict has exposed the fragility of the current global security architecture, underscoring the need for a renewed commitment to diplomacy and multilateralism. The stakes are incredibly high for all parties involved. As the war enters a new phase, diplomacy and dialogue remain the only viable path to a lasting peace. Achieving a negotiated settlement will require significant effort and compromise from all sides. The international community must work together to create conditions conducive to meaningful negotiations. A lasting peace agreement must address the legitimate security concerns of all parties involved. It must provide Ukraine with the security guarantees it needs to feel safe and secure within its own borders. At the same time, it must address Russia's concerns and provide it with a path to reintegrate into the international community. The pursuit of peace must remain the ultimate goal, as the alternative, a protracted and increasingly brutal conflict, is simply unacceptable. The international community must remain united in its support for a peaceful resolution.